Hello and welcome to English for a Better World. Our lesson today is about something very important. Let me give you a clue. There's something without which you cannot possibly enjoy living, even if you are very rich. Can you guess what that is? Well, it's health. So I hope everyone is healthy. Can you imagine how difficult life will be if you're not healthy? Well, that's our topic today, so let's get into it. Lesson 5, I have a terrible backache. Well, let's look at the highlights of our lesson today. Of course, the theme is our health. How long have you had this problem? And you will learn vocabulary to describe your health, your general health. And we have a new tense, present perfect tense. And finally, we will look at stress, causes of stress. As usual, we will begin with a picture. Take a good look at this picture. What do you see in it? We have capitalism is a stress. It actually is. And it's behind every problem we have today. All right, so let's look at the factors that contribute to stress. Childcare. No time. Everybody's busy these days, doing nothing basically. And it's called Harry's sickness. It's actually a sickness. People are short of time all the time. Rent. Well, when you worry about rent, a lot of people, unfortunately, don't own their own homes, and so they worry about paying the rent. Food, I don't have to tell you about that. It's just fast food. It's everywhere. And you know how harmful it is to our health. And of course, when you're in debt, you also worry all the time. Capitalism is the main cause of our stress. All right, so let's go to our warm-up. What springs to mind when you think of health? Headache, blood pressure, backache, heartache, toothache, diabetes, depression, stomach ache, insomnia, cold. So have you ever had any of these health problems? Well, I sometimes have stomach ache. Yeah, obviously catching cold, and these days catching COVID-19. Insomnia, well, sleeplessness. When you can't sleep, it's a horrible feeling, isn't it? So what else comes to mind when you think of health? Now, time to reflect on your health. What's your general health like? When did you last catch a cold? When did you last have a stomach ache? When was the last time you saw a doctor, and why? What do you do when you have a headache? What do you suggest for insomnia? Have you ever had a serious sickness? Have you ever had depression? Now, think about these questions and answer them. Pause the video. Susan, what's your general health like? I'm a vegetarian, so I have never had serious health problems. I sometimes have a mild headache, especially when I don't get enough sleep. I haven't been to a doctor for a long time. Good for you. And yes, the picture is actually delicious. And Abby, what's your general health like? Except for the common cold, which I often catch, and trouble sleeping sometimes, I think I'm fit. But last week I went to see an eye doctor because my eyes were red. How about you guys? Do you think you're fit? And Mary, you don't look well. What's your general health like? My main and serious health problem is anxiety. Well, I have had it for a long time. I don't sleep well at night, and I usually have a headache. I have been to many doctors, but they can't help. Unfortunately, recently anxiety has become very common. What about you guys? Do you also suffer from this mental issue? What about you, Adam? What's your general health like? I suffer from high blood pressure. I have had it for 10 years. I take medication every day to control it. I usually have headache when my blood pressure goes up. Well, blood pressure is also now common, unfortunately, and it's often related to lifestyle. How about you guys? I hope you're really healthy and I hope you're not suffering from any serious health problem. Giving non-medical advice. Are you guys in the habit of giving non-medical advice? All right, let's look at some of these common health issues: the flu, fatigue, and stress. We have very useful expressions to help you give non-medical advice. It's a good idea too. It's useful too. It's important too. It's helpful too. So for example, what do you suggest for the flu? Well, it's a good idea to drink hot liquids, tea. It's useful to just rest. It's important to take some medication, adult cold, and it's helpful to see a doctor. All right? So learn these useful expressions and tell us, what do you suggest for fatigue and stress? Now, let's look at these expressions in context in this dialogue. So we have a dialogue between Ben and Miko, and we have the expressions: how to give advice, it's a good idea too, it's helpful too, it's useful too, why don't you? So pause the video and fill in the blanks with the right phrase from the box. Hi Miko, you don't look well. I have a terrible cold. When did you catch it? 2 days ago. What should I do to get better? It's helpful to have lots of hot drinks. I'm taking adult cold, but I have a bad headache. It's useful to take a rest for a couple of days. I'm sure you will get over it. I have lots of things to do, but with this cold, I can't do anything. Just relax and don't worry about anything. It's a good idea to take a couple of days off from work. I guess I will have to. Will you fill in for me? Absolutely. Appreciate it. One more thing. Why don't you take lots of soup? Sure. Well, now I'm a doctor and you are my patient. So answer the questions, okay? Have you ever broken a bone? Has anyone in your family ever had a heart attack? Have you ever suffered from anxiety? Have you ever been to a psychologist? Have you ever been hospitalized? Have you ever taken any medication? Have you ever had a surgery? Have you ever stopped eating something for your health? I have. Well, now guys, you need to answer these questions before I tell you what's wrong with you. All right? So pause the video and answer the questions. Well, we have a dialogue between Joanne and a doctor. Joanne is obviously unwell, which is why she is seeing a doctor. So we have some phrases in the box. Pause the video, read the dialogue carefully, and fill in the blanks with the right phrase from the box. Good morning, take a seat and tell me what brings you here. I have a terrible cough and a sore throat. How long have you had this problem? I have had it for 10 days. When is the cough worst? It's always bad at night and in the morning, all day in fact. Have you ever had this problem before? I have similar symptoms once a year. I'm going to listen to your chest. You will need to take off your shirt. Is it okay if I pull it up like this? Yes, that's fine. Yes, that's fine. Breathe in for me, would you? Breathe out. Now, hold your breath until I tell you to stop. Sorry, I couldn't hold it any longer. Okay, I have heard enough. You have a nasty infection. I will give you some antibiotics to clear it up. Stress. How do you cope with stress, guys? And how stressed are you? Well, look at the first picture to see how stressed this person is. And what are the causes of stress? Life changes, relationship difficulties, busy life. Okay, so to find out more about stress, listen to the recording and answer the questions, okay? Modern life is full of stress, and many of our health problems may come from stress. Stress is our response to stressful life situations. Stress isn't always bad. In small doses, it can help you do your best under pressure. But when you are constantly running in emergency mode, your mind and body pay the price. What causes it? There are many reasons for stress. The main factor is how we live and what we expect. People in big cities have more stressful life because they want to have more, and when they feel they can't handle the situation, they get stressed. Some common causes of stress are external, like big life changes, work, relationship difficulties, money problems, being too busy, and family and children. Other causes are internal, like inability to cope with what isn't certain, negative attitude to life, high expectations, and wanting to be perfect in everything. What can be done? The best way to deal with the stress is to change our lifestyle. This may sound difficult at first, but it's actually easy, especially when we realize that our lifestyle is driven by false needs. Our grammar focus today is a very common tense, present perfect tense. Well, let's look at the form and then look at the uses. Well, the form: I have, we have, you have, they have, he has, she has, it has, plus past participle: eaten, gone. All right, and I have just eaten my breakfast. Where is Ali? Well, he has just left. Now let's consider the uses. Now, present perfect is used to give recent news or events. Examples: workers have had serious economic problems this year. Always, actually, unfortunately. Past actions with results now. The level of poverty has risen. So, past actions and the results, you can still see the results now. Life experiences. Have you ever been to Africa? No. Just kidding. He has read lots of useful books. It's also used to talk about unfinished actions. He has lived in Cuba for 10 years. How long have you lived here? Let's practice. Complete these sentences using simple past or present perfect. And remember, simple past is used to talk about actions that happened in the past at a specific point of time in the past and finished. And so remember the time expressions used with the simple past. Okay, so pause the video and complete these sentences. Well, that's the end of our lesson today. I hope you will always stay healthy, and please remember to take your health seriously, avoid stress as much as possible, and stay safe, especially in these crazy times. So, see you next Saturday with another fun and deep lesson.